It's been a busy week for Grand Chief Mike Delisle Jr. and Education Portfolio Chief Rhonda Kirby, who were both in Ottawa for a series of meetings regarding the contentious First Nations Control of First Nations Education Act. In a disappointing turn of events, a meeting in the works for several weeks with AFN Chief Shawn Atleo was postponed without a notice from Atleo indicating when or if the meeting would be rescheduled. However, Chiefs Delisle and Kirby did attend an AFNQL Special Chiefs Assembly where a resolution was passed rejecting the C-33 legislation. This was followed by a press conference organized by the Assembly of Manitoba Chiefs to address its strong opposition to said legislation. Grand Chief Delisle was invited to participate on that panel.
Well, today's event started at 6 o'clock leaving Kahnawake. I attended a introductory meeting, pre-briefing for the press conference with 4 other chiefs, some from Manitoba, Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Ontario. Unified front against the First Nations Control of First Nation Education Act.
A lot of the work to fight the First Nations Education Act began in our community and has been going on for months. Today was very, very interesting because for the first time we saw that message that we have been sharing with Canada, shared by other First Nations communities. And to have some of those chiefs representing 70, 100 communities standing together and at that press conference where we were all unified and unanimously together standing against the First Nations Education Act.
I think the press conference at the National Press Gallery went well. The message delivered strong and clear. I think Kahnawake's position has been consistent throughout, not only in rejection, but coming up with a plan and moving forward. We came over to the Minto Suites here this afternoon to talk to AFNQL representation, the Chiefs Assembly specific to education. At the end of the day, we passed the resolution, again, rejecting the act, but I think more importantly saying that the Assembly of First Nations cannot speak on our behalf and cannot confirm the commitment that they've made to the federal government on this new education bill.
The resolution is an important one. Really what they're sort of identifying in the resolution is they're talking about how the federal government used the AFN to consult on the legislative proposal, and that the government doesn't have, or the AFN doesn't have the authority to represent communities in Quebec and Labrador, and that the federal government needs to deal directly with communities via the AFNQL.